Here in Untamed Hearts Diaries, we share lots of stories that are based on forgiveness, appreciation, and life hustles generally. So if you know you want to share your story, do join us. And today we have a handsome man who wants to actually share his lifetime story about his life hustle. So do stay tuned to watch this because I believe you'll have a lot to learn from this. So today we're going to be talking with Mr. Daniel Abana. So, Mr. Daniel Abana.
It's a pleasure. Like she said, my name is Mr. Daniel Abana. I'm currently the business operations manager for PZ Cuisine. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I'm here to share my life story.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, can you tell us how it all started and
Well, I would say it has been a battle, but we are still always winning. If I could remember clearly, many years ago, that was when I was much younger. I think it started with my mom because I remember far back as at primary school, there was this incident. I still remember like it happened yesterday. There was this incident whereby how my dad they were because they were traveling. So along the line they stopped to get something on the way. You understand? So her trying to cross the road to get something, and Okada coming by this side, unknown to her, she didn't see the Okada and the Okada hit her and she fell. So I think that was the beginning of our night in as a family.
oh,
So we struggle started from that day, and when she woke up, she found herself in the hospital. And it was then they now realized that she had sugar, she was suffering from high BP. So at that point in time, it was the beginning of the struggle because we were all much younger, me and my younger sibling, my younger brother. So we're still new to life at that point in time.
Yeah.
So my dad was much experienced in life then, so he's the one carrying her through the whole process, and it took a very long time. If we got to a point that because of the sugar issue, the injuries couldn't heal, so he kept spending money, it was not healing. So along the line, my dad got promoted, so he was transferred from Kaduna back to Abuja. So when we got Abuja, likewise, she had to move with
wait,
him down here. So we got here. We were lucky to get a doctor who was back then he was a consultant in Total Charity then in Kubwa. So we're lucky to meet him. And it was where he now saw the leg. If we had spent a week or more, that leg would have been cut off. But lucky for us, we were there earlier on and he was able to rectify it. It took close to a year or two for the leg to get healed. And after the healing process, she got better. We all assumed that life would get better
yeah.
from there. But we all missed it. In fact, it got harder from there because after that, there was much more complications. You understand? It was along the line we discovered that she had insufficiency, whereby the hormones that produce the thyroid hormones that produce the insulin in the body, you understand, were not producing enough insulins again. So she had what we call goiter. Most times you see some ladies who have this goiter on the
Yes,
on the neck. So it was gradually building up. We didn't even know because most times we notice at night, because it happens mostly at night, she'll just be shouting in the room. My dad would be like, what's the problem? She can't just explain why she's shouting. She'll be on ease, always shouting and shouting and so it continued for a long time. So after a while, someone advised us to go to there was this general hospital then in Maitama, we should go for a scan and see what the issue was. So we went for a scan, there was nothing. They couldn't actually pinpoint that this is where the problem was.
Is from.
So we continued managing the situation, managing it. Then over time, I started noticing that there was this like, gradual growth swell in our neck. So always going gradually. So I called it out like, Dad, this is what I'm noticing on mom's neck. And it has not been there previously. So what's the cause of it? So we went back to the same hospital. Now there's now a proof that there's something actually wrong. So they ran some tests and it was proving that she had goiter and the best option, one of the options was surgery. So surgery required that they remove those thyroid glands that produce those insulin. And what that means is, if those glands are removed, you have to live on artificial insulin. So it means that she has to live on drugs all the days of her life. So that was a very tough decision for us to make. But the more time we wasted, the more the our health deteriorated. It became more complicated. You understand? So we had to just make a choice. We had other options too. So I asked us to try herbal. But we got some supplements and there were not much changes. Some people advised, okay, try why not do the surgery here in Nigeria since it's going to be less expensive.
Yeah.
But my mom, being a kind of person who doesn't want to take the risk, she said no, that she wants to go outside. So it was a big drag. It was a big drag. The funds were not there, so my dad had to sell some properties, and we flew out to South Africa. So she went there. It's not like I was not there, so there's nobody there. She was there with the church. So the church was taking care of her. Then during the surgery, because it's after the surgery, we had the news of how the surgery went. So during the surgery, what we heard was that she passed out for like 6 hours. She was on oxygen, yes. Oxygen for 6 hours, and due to prayers and so many work was put into it, she came back, and that experience taught her a lot of lessons, you understand? It drew everybody closer to God because at that point in time, we would have lost her.
Yeah.
But God being merciful, He actually brought her back, and she actually stayed like 3 more years back in South Africa then before she came back here. So when she got back, we also assumed that life was going to get better.
Yeah, but wait, when she was still in South Africa, did she recover fully?
Yeah, she did to a great extent. She did, even though she couldn't really walk. She wouldn't do much of the hustling based on she was still recovering because those years was for. She was more of resting. So wouldn't say she really hustled. So we wouldn't say that she covered 100%, but at least she was okay.
Okay.
She could communicate, she would move and she would get things fast. So basically, we could say that she was okay. So because of this apartheid, and when the Asabas was fighting with other African countries, we had to force her down
Back
to Nigeria because we don't want the situation where she'll be there and things will go wrong. There's no one there that will defend her, son, so we have to bring her back here. And when she got back here, it's as if the whole problem started afresh again. For the few days she was here, she was around because I was around. I will not forget I was around that period. She was very okay. Then so they started complaining of malaria. So like every other parent, every other for siblings now, took her down to the hospital. The one normal malaria test, give you drugs. She would take and get better for 2 days. The next day, again, to get worse, to back there. So this is how we were doing the process for like 4 months. We were not actually getting what the issue was. Then it got to a point, her left hand stopped movement.
Got paralyzed.
Yeah, stopped movement totally. So you notice her struggling to pick items. So from there, we started to see that, okay, now the hand is not paralyzed. After some day, it will become normal again. So it was so much of wonder. What's happening? Is it this? Is it that? If you go to the hospital, will tell you it's possible his cholesterol is high, the BP is high. They keep pumping her with more drugs, but she was not getting better. Okay, go to a point for like 3 good weeks, the hand was dead. There was no life in it. So at that point, they recommended a particular test, which we went to Aso Clinic. Then I won't forget Aso Clinic in Asoko there to go and run the test. And even after the test, because I think then because I almost 200,000 for those that particular test. Even after the test, we came back, the hand still didn't improve. The test result was not even showing any signs that maybe stroke was coming, there was something that was about to happen. There was no showing to show that it was more than what we were saying. So we kept repeating the regular go and stay 2 days. There was this particular period that she stayed close to 3 weeks in the hospital. To the extent that we did our crossover in the hospital. Imagine you crossing over from the 31st night to the 1st of January.
Yeah.
Everybody shouting Happy New Year. Your family is in the hospital bed. And imagine when you now shout, echo will show to you that you're the only one in the whole entire hospital. So that was the whole process till stroke finally hit her down. Because I think it was a night like that. I got a call from my neighbor because I was in school then that my mom slumped. That she was on the floor. So my dad had to rush from where he was. This happened around 12 p.m. in the night. So she went out. You know, women are most times can be stubborn. She went out to go and buy suya. What they advised her not to eat. Then she was living alone then. She was living alone then now. So she was always getting things that she wants no one to control her, no one to caution what she was eating. So she kept eating those things that she was advised not to eat. So I think all those things complicated the health issues and it came with so much force and it hit her down. So that's night stroke morning when it happened. It was a very sad period because My dad told me that when he got there, he just saw a lifeless body on the floor. So with the help of the Aboki and one other person, they managed to put her in the back of the car and they drove her down to Daughters of Charity. So when she got there, the doctor saw her and they said this is not what they can handle. That this is clear evidence of partial stroke. So they referred us to Gogola Teaching Hospital. So that same night, my dad drove down to Gogola there. She was still cautious though. So he drove down to Gogola Teaching Hospital there and after the doctors examined her, they confirmed that it was partial stroke. So they gave her a bed. They will say she better say because then we were still in school, my brother was still in school, so he was the only one doing the run around. So he started running around getting tests to do, run MRI, run brain CT, run so many type of tests to know what exactly happened. Both you run check the heart, check so many things. So after the whole test, they don't advise that since it's stroke, there is no medicine for stroke. It's something that will heal gradually. So then we now advise to put our faith in God. You know, when it goes beyond what doctors can explain, they tell you to can't trust in God, you understand? So we went back and started managing it. She was in the hospital for close to 3 months or so. Imagine she could not stand up, she could not sit down. So there was someone, a friend who was taking her to the bedroom and back, beating her and stuff like that. So after a while, that 3 months or so, she was discharged because they advised us to start doing physiotherapy from home.
Yeah.
That's staying in the hospital here won't help her because
And
it's
you
not something that will heal.
money.
It's not something that will heal within 3 months. It can take like 2 years before you actually see some good changes. So she got back to the house. She had my mom used to be very chubby. So the day I came back from school, I saw her. She had slimmed down. Like she was so pale, and you know that she has gone through a lot. You understand? So we tried herbal. There was this herbal doctor who was a physiotherapist who also give herbal drugs to try herbal. Did that for like 6 months. There was no change. In fact, the hand was getting more stiff. She could only eat with the left hand. Right hand and right leg were all gone. Understand? But she was managed to move around with the aid of a stick. She couldn't move around on her own. It was that bad. So after trying the herbal for like 6 to 1 year, there was no change. Someone advised us to now see a real doctor again. So we took her down to another teaching hospital, which they actually recommended a physiotherapist who was now a professional,
Yeah.
who that was his field. So we started from there, and even though his charges was quite high, but we wanted to try something different. You understand? So it wasn't really an easy task because mostly I had to drive them down. So it was a distance from where we were staying to where the therapist was residing. So it was a three days in a week affair. So we go there. So even when he first saw her, he was shocked because he was like, this stroke has lasted for so long. So we shouldn't expect the result so soon.
To be, yeah.
Because he was giving us instances of some of his clients who that happened immediately and they brought them in and shows us the progress. We just then in the space of 1 week or 2 weeks, you could see them still trying to move their hand to show that they're actually responding.
Yeah.
But it was like the nerves are already stiff. So it's going to take a lot of work, you understand, to bring those nerves back. And we believe though, we were paying because then the charges was quite high, but since it was recommended by someone who believed that he could actually deliver, kept trying. We did that for like going to 6 months, there was still no change. There was still no change. She was still the same. The only difference was that some of those pains, because of inactiveness of those parts of the body, you have pains then naturally. When you don't use any part of the body, over time that place will become low and pains will come out. So those pains was what they had just subsided. But for those hands to work like normal, there was no growth, there was no changes then. But we kept on believing, we're still spending money. Then in the course of those treatments, something else happened. I begin to notice that when she passes stool, there was blood in her stool. So we thought maybe it was fire. So we took her to the hospital. They said, okay, they need to conduct a test. So the pathologist came in, took a sample from there and went to the lab and told us in the next 2 to 3 months to come back for the result. So they gave her normal drugs to see if the blood will subside. So the blood didn't actually stop, and we were praying because whatever that has to do with going to a pathologist, it's either it's cancer or it's cancerous. That's just the way it ends. It's not way two ways. So most of we always pray that it should not be cancer, because if it's cancer, then we're not just battling stroke, we're not battling high blood pressure, we're not battling cholesterol now, we're not battling cancer. So you see that it's now more complicated. You understand? So
Yeah.
after the space of that space, we're still managing it, still managing both the blood, the stroke, and so many other complications that was coming down to it. I remember it was the last 2 years, to the January, when we went back to the pathologist to see the results. Then he told us that it was cancer.
Cancer.
That it was cancer, and we know the process of cancer is. So he advised us to go back, think about it. It's either we come for the chemotherapy
Yeah.
or we look for an alternative. And my dad being a Christian, he doesn't believe that we should use light or radioactive to actually dry cells, that can even kill the person faster than even the cancer himself. Well, I tried to encourage him to take her for chemotherapy, but he refused. He said he will not use his wife to do barbecue because he feels like you taking your wife for chemo is like you just using her for sacrifice, because over time that thing will keep drying her and dries her entirely. Because the cancer there was already in stage 3 already. It's already at the point whereby you don't take the mercy of God for you to get your healing. So he opted for no chemotherapy. He said, let us try herbs. Herbs I didn't work before. He assumed that this at this point I was having quarrels with him because I was tired of all these herbs. The herbs were not working. But he didn't want to try the natural drugs again because he was seeing that okay, the ones he has done before, we didn't give him results. So why not we try herbs again? I'm like, okay, these herbs I've used before brought her down to this point she is right now. Why not we go back to the doctors and at least hear them out, see if she can live longer? He was like, he will not go and sign consent form for what he's not aware of. Like if I get married tomorrow, I can use my wife and do, but he won't use his wife for such kind of experiment. You understand?
Yeah.
So that was how he left her. He was just getting drugs. This Catholic church who gives, we call it Pass Herbal. So he bought some drugs from them and he was giving her. Their health was deteriorating. It was getting very, very bad. Trust me, I don't pray for cancer for anybody. Nothing kills as fast as that. In fact, it keeps drying you, keeps drying you. You keep losing your value as a human being. You understand? As each day goes by, she keeps losing flesh, keep losing blood. If you go to a point, we have to think about the hospital, they have to give her like 3 to 4 pints of blood because her blood level was very low. But my dad still said no chemotherapy. He was very clear. So most times when he goes to the hospital to complain, no, the doctors don't listen to him anymore because they have told you this is the only solution to this right now. And you said you don't want to go this path. So why are you bringing her down here again? What else do you want us to do? So he noticed that him going back to the hospital to complain to them was of no use. He now chose to pray. No, when there's not an option again, he decided to pray. So he believed that someday God is going to hear her. But trust me, the healing was not coming. It was getting bad. In fact, it got to a point whereby she doesn't eat again. She stays 2-3 days without eating anything. So imagine you taking drugs
Without eating.
on an empty tummy.
Wait, is it that she doesn't have appetite to eat, or
She doesn't even eat at all. Then at that point that she not left from being a human being to not be a skeleton, because I'm sure she wasn't way up to 30 anymore. That's her, because I had to travel down here to work. They were still managing her in Abuja then. It was when they sent a video of her. I could barely recognize my own mom because it was that bad. You understand? It was really bad. And at that point I just knew within myself that she will not survive this. Because someone who can stay a week without eating, just taking drugs without food, taking only water, you even manage to feed her pap. Now she's not poor on the bed, she now lays on the bed. You understand? She's not helpless. If you want to get her, you have to carry her. She doesn't even talk. When you talk, you don't hear what she says. But I just knew within myself, there's no redemption within this. So it was on a Sunday. On Saturday evening, my dad called me on the phone and told me that we need to intensify our prayers that my mom is not getting better. I was like, well, how will she get better? When you refuse to heal to what the doctors are telling you, you choose to keep her home and give her one type of treatment. He was like, he will not subdue his wife under chemicals or whatever they call it, just because of the name that's going to get her better. How many people have I seen in short stay, I got better in the cancer that I studied stage 3 already, you understand? So on a Saturday, after that call on a Saturday, I had that knowledge that it was just a short time she's going to pass on. On Sunday morning, Sunday evening, my dad called me that my mom was speaking, that they're rushing her to the hospital. Then I just knew my mom that she won't come back from this. So when they got to the hospital, in the emergency there, she was confirmed dead. She didn't survive the cancer. They complained that her blood level was low, her eyes was white, that there was no how she could have survived that period. So that's how I lost my mom. That was February 11th, that was the month of February last year. That's how I lost my mom. And since then, it's been a struggle, you understand? Started trying to prepare myself for the burial, you understand? I was the only one here. My dad and my younger sibling was down in Abuja there. So I was the one running around trying to, you know how burials can be in Igbo land now.
Yeah.
It was a very terrible experience. So we tried to run around, try to do one or two things. And my dad being someone who doesn't really associate people in the village, because they were requesting we to bring down the corpse down to our place. That they wanted to have a view, but we will be sure that their daughter is actually there. That we did not use her for sacrifice or for something.
Yes.
And at that point in time, her place was a very, not even family, a very bad place. It's not a place that you can just go alone. And my dad was like, he only has two boys. He can't use one for sacrifice. In the process of trying to bury the mom, he not using one in the process because nobody was willing to go there with me. You understand now? Just only person as the first son to go down there with the corpse.
So where is she from?
She's from Atani.
Okay.
Atani Wipele side, that water side. Okay. You know how it is, you have to get to where you get to the car and then you enter the boat and travel. So my dad didn't want us to raise any of us. And so he told them, okay, let us monetize what they're requesting for. They're requesting for Shinab and all that. They were like, okay, let's monetize this. Instead of my kids coming down, why can't I send money? The family was against. They said they need to see the corpse, or at least let them see the children. But I was like, you cannot just use us for experiment. You can't just go down that kind of long distance. We've never been there before. And you can't just go down there for the first time. People you don't know. And most of our siblings were residents in Abuja. We were like, who are they going to meet when they go down to our village? When the whole family is already in Abuja. And the families are aware of sickness before even going to the stage of our death. They are aware of all the process that was involved. Why must they go down
to the village? Since
the family or the whole family are there in Abuja, let them speak on your sisters they have. But this is this, we are aware of this process. Let's just go ahead and do the burial. Then much later, when the font is for all these their appeasements and these their gods or whatever they want to do, we can come later and do whatever. It was a serious battle. They won't vow that they won't come for the burial. They said they won't show face for the burial. And they didn't come for the burial. No single soul from my mom's place. Not even the sibling. None of them were the one that handled everything. My dad's people, the church handled the whole burial, and that's how I buried my mom. And life had to go on after that. Understand? It was a very tough process though.
Yeah.
It was a very tough process, but we had to come to understand that it has been a rough ride. Illness that you're managing for close to 15 to 17 years, more than that. It wasn't something of a day. You understand? So we just came to the conclusion that okay, I think it was God's time to call her home, and after the death, everybody had to readjust after the mother. You understand? So we had to replan our lives. I had to tell my brother to go back to stay with my dad in Abuja while I stay here and hustle. Okay. So this has been the process. So for now, I want to take care of my dad. The hustle will send money down to the pay for rent, and so this has been the short process. And I would say per se, it has not been an easy ride, but we are alive, we're kicking.
Sure,
and we didn't give up along the way. So this is
someone I know always say, "Na who get life, na get."
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
So during all the whole struggles while your mom was sick, did it affect your school life and the rest?
So let's just say yes, it did. Psychologically, it did, because most times you'll be in school, you get a call that mom is sick or mom is down. We humans, naturally, this affects your psychology. You understand? Naturally, begin to panic. Okay, what next? What to do? And you still have the school life to live. You still have academics to focus on. And you still have to know what next to do about your mom because she's still your mom. Because when you're in school, you still have to be worried for her. So I think there was a point before I had to. I think that was in secondary school where I had to miss school close to a year, stay while in the hospital. So to the extent they actually did. And but my happiness is thank God for my dad. Most times I always tell my mom before she died, I tell her, you're lucky you have a husband like this. Do you understand? Because if that man did not put in the effort he did, I'm sure you have a history long. You would have died when you died, a long time ago. Because definitely most men these days, if your wife gets sick 5 years, they will not disappear. They won't if they try to take you to the hospital, they dump you there and they just abscond. You understand? But during this whole process, he didn't abandon her for a second. He never abandoned her. He was with her throughout the whole process, throughout the back and forth. There are times if we have to sleep in the car with us, we'll sleep in the car with the mosquito and everything. Most of them will complain, will tell you, it's part of life. You don't know what others are facing. You understand? So he always encouraged us. He keeps encouraging us that we should always understand that life is not a bed of roses. You understand? Not as much that others are finding it easy, you will not find it easy. So life is not fair. It doesn't treat you the same way it treats others. It might treat others in a well-pleasant manner, it might treat you in a rough manner. But one thing he always tells us that life won't always remain this way. It always gets to a point in time in life whereby things will definitely get better. You understand? So I think all those talks, all those practical love he showed to us, his family, to the wife, I think those things have actually helped us to actually be strong. Those practical examples he was showing because you're actually living by his example. You understand? Because you see that he actually was actually showing true love. It wasn't something that he was faking. Because you see that this man truly loves his wife. You understand? So I think we grew up in an atmosphere whereby we learn to love. You understand? So most times when those troubles come, we always believe that okay, it's going to get better in one point in time or the other. So those experiences, both from my mom, both from my dad, both from life generally, which we all saw, you understand, helped us, shaped us to be better people, which we are today. And I'm grateful to God for my dad and my mom, even though she's late right now. I don't regret being in that family because the Christian background which they brought us in actually helped us not to make some mistakes. We make mistakes in life. At least those things shaped us to be the men we are. Two solid men and my mom brought up, you understand, solid men we are today. We will not be where we want to be, but at least it's a process. But at least today.
Talking about that, I want to ask you, is there any way this story of yours or the condition that your family got into affected you in a way that you needed to do one or two bad things or life hustle, you needed to start doing different things in order to make ends meet, just in order to support your family or your dad?
Well, I feel life has its choices. You understand? No matter how bad life gets, the choice is still within us to decide if we want to go the wrong path or the right path. Each of the paths is still our choice. Because I don't believe in saying that there's no other choice. Life always gives you choices. That's just the truth. Because most times we're not patient for the right choice. We always want a shorter cut, you understand? So when my mom broke down, definitely I had some properties there because I was working with my dad. So some properties which we acquired then. Naturally, we need to save my mom's life. So we had to start selling most of the properties. If not, because there was no other means. And definitely, based on our background, the Christian background, you would expect us to go and steal to come and take care of our mom because it's like we're complicating our issues from. So imagine you having a very complicated life already. You're going to go and steal. Then what if you get caught? You're going to maybe go to Yahoo, for example, the EFC picks you up. Then you're adding more injury into what's already there. So I just told myself, I can't go and have parts that will add more damages to me because I'm already having a lot of it at home already. So I think it might be a little bit difficult, but I just made up my mind that I must just follow the right path. So I think it was that I started doing a lot of things, man. A lot of things.
Can you tell us
a lot of things because even when it got very tough, very, 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 very tough, I think I started doing dry fish. Most times, me and my dad then because our drugs became very expensive. So there's what they call Papa's Gram. Then we go buy fish. They sell it in kilos. We buy it, then we dry. Till we get back home. There was this pattern we used. Then we used to buy this fufu. So this is what you call akpu now.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
buy it, use it and clean the surface. Because if you dry fish with firewood, it becomes smoky. You see the black. Yeah, so
yes.
we use that for food to clean up the black. So that when you touch it, you really see the oil. So that was a kind of our signature for the business. So, but along the line, I noticed that the proceeds that comes from that particular business was not enough.
For the
Understand?
drugs.
To even foot the bills of the home, not talking of not
Drugs.
drugs itself. So my dad sat down, we were just thinking, what do we do then? Funny enough, he got this funny advice that I should go and get me a popcorn machine. So he bought a popcorn machine. Then we got a spot because our parish then there was an empty portion in the front there. So he advised me, okay, let's try popcorn and see if it will work out. At first I was very knocked out because I was tired of doing try and error, you understand?
Yeah.
So we started with tried the popcorn. And the funny part is that when the income coming in is still lesser than the bills is carrying, it cannot work. Most times the bills of drugs started eating into the capital of the business. So business we started with 100,000. You bought your corn, bought your butter, your milk and whatever. Gradually the capital started falling. So we couldn't buy corn, a full bag of corn again. So they buy half bag of corn. We couldn't get a full carton of butter. We started buy the one that will measure for you. So to show that the business is now going down because of you're not eating into the capital of the business. So I told my dad it is better we sell off this popcorn machine and look for something else that is more profitable because now business has gone to a point whereby you can't even sustain the business with what we have at hand. So let's sell off this popcorn machine and see something else that we could go into. So there was this our church member who she was into sales of bread. She sold bread there. So she was like, okay, that's how lucrative is this business? They said, because that point that we're desperate, you understand, to do something, just need to start earning income.
Have you gotten into school then?
Yeah, I was still invested there, but most time, because of it, I was mainly at home then, because trying to arrange
One or two things.
So I was mainly at home then. Most I always go back late because I make sure that I also a wife for them. I have to pay school fees and stuff like that. So I think I did training just a day training because there was no time to go and train for a month because we next time came money. So I did a day training and I got a stand there when I was staying there and started selling bread. At first it was moving. The lady was helping. She was quite helpful at the initial stage. She will buy from the bakeries, will now come down to the house, pick up with the car because the car was using them, pick up with the car, then drive down to my stand, then offload the bread on my stand and sell. But along the line, I started noticing she started giving me attitude. Maybe she felt that she was making it very easy. She made it very easy for me. I don't know the stress she goes through before she start going to the bakery, spend hours trying to wait for the bread to bring them down. I just come to the house and sit, wait ready and pick it up and so she stopped
getting bread
for me. So now this is when the real struggle that started because right now I wasn't really familiar with those bakeries. I've never been there. I don't even know them. So at the point that I had to now source for the bakeries myself. So what I do, I wake up 5 a.m. in the morning, I drive out, so I can go to Imperial, go to Grand Square, go to Kuba, just go to 1 or 2, 3, 4 bakeries, make inquiries, how do you buy? Because you must go and make inquiries, how do I buy?
Yeah.
From what you call 50, 100, how do you sell? Was there this discount for me? So that's how I started. So I started going to each bakery, you understand? So gradually I started picking bread myself. So most times I leave like hours before the time I go to sell so that I can be able to wait because the bread is always ready. I have other customers which are also waiting to supply it, so you understand. So I get there, pick 1 or 2. I started small though, maybe each bakery like 5, 5, 5, 5, just mix, have some varieties. Then I started selling. But along the line, I started noticing that if I keep up with so much varieties, I was having so much damages. And most of these bakeries, I said damages after they bought from them.
Yeah.
So I said, let me reduce the bakeries I buy from. Instead of going long distances, I said discover the bakery that within where I stay. At least let me save transportation. Also save my time because you can spend 3-4 hours in one bakery and up there you won't be able to get bread. So I picked I was able to get Toy Max, 1 or 2 other bakeries within where I was staying. So I started with them. And then it will be less stressful. You understand? And all I do, I just call them on phone. Do you have bread? They say yes. I just drive down, pick some maybe 10-15 loaves. So I was using 2-3 bakeries. Then even in that process too, it became very difficult because now people saw that this young guy, he was not doing well in this aspect. So many people when I tried to go into the same business I was doing at that point in time. So the baker was having more customers. So the amount of hours I used to get bread was now increasing. If it takes 2 hours to get bread, now it takes like 5 hours to get bread. So I was like, I can't cope with taking care of my mom, take care of the house, then still go to bakery, come back, cook in the house, sit down, go back to sell.
We're cooking.
I was I had to. So it was a lot of work. It was, so I had to help myself so that I don't die before my time. I make the job a little much easier. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So there was this place they call bread market. I just later discovered it. They call it bread market, whereby all those bakeries
They come together
and have a stand. You still get at the same price, but it may not be as cheap as what you get from the bakeries. But at least you can still mark up and get some profit. So I resorted to using that particular stand. So I was always going there and leave in the morning. So it was no more staying hours now in the bakery. So it was now coming back, now take care of the family, because after I pick my bread, pack them at home, I go to the market, buy what we eat, come back, I cook, I serve them. Then I have bit, then go
back to
the stand. Most of the time I come back, I come back 11 p.m., 10, 11, 12 p.m. and you understand. So this was a regular routine. So after a while, my uncle called and he advised that I'm not living life like this. That how can a young man be carrying full family, cooking, cleaning, still washing clothes, still go to buy bread, still selling, I come back, that I cannot survive with this. You understand? So he advised me I should come down here and see me if I will get something better. So that was how I relocated.
Okay, I think there's a part you missed, because I know you used to talk about you doing DJ and the rest, preparing food. You really want to get the full details of how you were able to navigate.
The DJ part was back then in school. Well, we know how the hustle of school can be, and not so much was coming in. You understand, from the family, especially my dad, not so much. But then my mom was really eating deep into the finances of the family. So schooling there was very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So I think in my 100 level, because I wasn't really as open type, but I said, let me try being an MC. So I tried it, and I noticed that it was working for me. I started experimenting on that. Then along the line, I said, let me try pedicure. Because
you did pedicure?
Yeah, I was just trying to experiment. You know, as a young guy, I want to see where you can still get more footing. So let me experiment. So I also learned pedicure. Along that, I was also doing pedicure. Then I think my tutorial level, I did some crazy mistakes then though, which cost me a lot. You know when all these Ponzi, I know MMA, that was like MMA,
yes.
Some other Ponzi's came in there. So I did a little gamble then, based on trying to help my family though. So I used this is my 3 level school fees.
300 level school fees?
Yeah, I used, because then we were paying 136,950 also. So I used my 3 level school fees to gamble, and it's gambling. It's not I know it was gambling. Then I knew it was gambling. I just thought it was an investment. I was thinking so.
That was what they told us.
Yeah. So I used my 3 level school fees then, and boom, the first one came out successfully. Glory be to God. So I assumed life was very easy. So I think from there I paid for my younger brother's school fees. But he just go to university. Wow. So I paid for school. I did some things with that. I said, let me try again. After I sourced the process from it. I said,
and did you pay your own school fees?
No, I didn't pay them because I felt okay, it's now a source of income. So I got in a very cheap source of income. So I said, let me try again. Now, this second time, I was not lucky. Then I took the whole school fees again and I synced it into MMM. And that was the last time I heard about it. I heard about MMM, and that's how I lost those school fees. And the funny thing was that in my child level, they changed our how do they call it now? Director, what do they call it? So our former rector, the one was very lenient. This new person was not. You must pay your school fees.
Vice president, vice chancellor.
Vice, sorry. So this new vice chancellor, you must pay your school fees before you write the exam. It was not like the former one who was very lenient, who was like a father to everybody. So you could go plead with him. Sir, see, I made a mistake, or let me. So you must pay your school fees. I think
that should be Professor Greg.
Yeah. So you must pay. This one was no escape route for anybody. So me and my friends then, it was then I started knowing friends like they follow me doing MMA. We didn't know, I thought I was the only one standing.
Everybody wants to everybody wants to be wealthy in the secret.
You understand? So I said, my friends they come in and If I did this thing in my school, I said, you follow us to that. You see, I was like, so I'm involved. So my school is Sunday. We're like, we're looking at alternative, how to escape because exams were fast approaching. And it's not going to be a nice story whereby you not tell your family. Then you'll be in school for 3 years and you miss your 3 level school because we pray for final year, you understand. So that point in time, we had to just maneuver our way around it. I had to borrow. Most of my friends had to borrow. Some of them missed the exams because some could not borrow. So I had to, there's a way I spoke to all my cousins in secret. Why did I raise that money for me? And I paid for that school. That's how I was able to write the exam. Then 4 level, I learned my lesson. So there was no more using school fees to go and gamble again. So that's how luckily, that's how I finished school. But it was a very terrible experience. It was a very terrible. I would advise anyone to try and get money quick without even you hustling because that period of time, I know what I went through, honestly. There was so many backlash from family, from even from my uncles because most of them were expecting me to be more knowledgeable. Based on what I've passed through in life, I shouldn't make certain mistakes. But they don't understand that it wasn't just a mistake. There was something that prompted me to go that far.
Yeah.
There were bills to be paid. There were so many things need to be done that I needed cash. And I couldn't run to them for everything. So as a man now, you want to try some experiments on your own and some might work out. Some might not really work out. But the most important thing about this is that you've learned your lessons. You understand? I think from there, I finished. I was able to go for service. It wasn't easy because I think part of all those things stopped a lot of things. I stopped getting favored based on that mistake I made. So in fact, I hustled my way through. For that period, the hustle became double. Even me going to service, there was no help. I had to raise money to get my khaki, get my white car, and all those things. So the money I had to hustle them myself, go for service. But great with God, we scaled through the service period. The 3-year camp, 3 weeks camp came out. Then I was posted down to Abuja because I did my camping in Enugu State. Then I deployed back to Abuja to take care of family. Then along the line, the part of me coming down back here to work, came to work, and since then it's been good.
Your story is really touching.
God.
Really touching. And the truth is, from the looks, I would say you've not actually had this kind of struggle in life. But they say it's only the skin that covers what people go through in life. And sincerely speaking, it's your skin, your good looks, everything, and your composure too. One would think you've been living life really well from.
I would say the good skin came from my mom. My mom is really beautiful, though. Wow. So I think the good skin came from my mom, and the composure from God, though. Because definitely we pray that God will like what we pass through. So I think in that aspect, God has been faithful and He didn't allow my physical appearance look like what I've been through in life. So most of when people see me now, they feel like someone who was born with a silver spoon or a golden spoon and he has lived the best part of his life. It's only when I sit you down and tell you just a brief history of what I've gone through, it's when you understand that, okay, the skin is a different aspect of life entirely. There's still something else to it. There's something about. So most times, let's look at the skin. The skin is just to cover some certain things. Yes.
Okay, so I think I have one more question for you.
Okay.
In the course of all these struggles, and were there times you had a girlfriend or a lady you actually wanted to get married to, and she felt like, because you're still hustling or struggling, that you needed, they can't stay or wait for you till you make it. Were there ladies that left your life?
I wanted to skip this part because definitely every young struggling guy always wants someone by the side.
True.
For that moral support, it's very, very important. There's no struggling guy now that tells me that he's not praying for a lady who is able to stand by his side in this difficult period. You understand? In this difficult time. So there were a couple of them. But there was one she was very helpful though. She was a designer then. I helped her kind of build her brand. She's doing very well now. But women, they say time is not on their side. So, it's got to a point whereby she was like, she can't do it. And the people come find married. In fact, I think it's more because serious that suitors get very serious. I don't know why that happens to me a lot. When I get very serious with someone, a lot of suitors, like people from nowhere, will also wake up and tell you, I want to marry this one you're carrying now. This one you're dating, I want to marry. It's not a thing. So I think the pressure was so much on her to get married. It was so much. There was this person who she was dating, even though she's not the Igbo girl, she's from Edo State, but she's a wonderful person. Because she's married now, but I won't speak back. She's a very, very wonderful lady. I won't lie about it. Very, very wonderful lady. But well, I just feel fate didn't cross her path because at that point in time, the pressure was so much. Family was telling her, you're already coming of age, and now there's someone who has money. There's two different things. There's the difference between I'm ready to get married and the difference between I have money and I want to get married. There are two different things. And I want to get married now, but my fiancé will tell me no, so I'll keep prolonging the marriage. But the guy was ready to get married, both financial wise. In fact, he was prepared to get married. So at that point in time, she had the option. Is either she chooses to stay with me, which is you don't know when this guy is never going to be ready, or go for who's already ready and bear the consequence that comes out of the marriage. Or no woman wants to stay with the guy who she's not sure of the future, no matter how promising that guy might look, no matter how the future might look very bright. They will tell you whether you hold the one you're saying, the one that is yet to manifest. So I think I love the line, and it was those things were adding more complications to my life. I was battling my mom's health, struggling with life, struggling with girlfriend. So I just told myself I had to just is that I run away, I die in this thing. So I just had to make a decision. In fact, all this has prompted me relocating down here. I think those helped me to heal. Yeah, it really helped me to heal a lot. So because I didn't want to be in a situation whereby I'm struggling to please a woman, struggling to carry my family, you understand? There's no how I will bear those kind of burden at that very tender age. So I was trying to paint the picture to her, but she was not understanding it. She just felt as if I don't want to settle down with her. But I told her since someone was already coming, and I don't want to be as if, okay, this guy tied me down, and someone more serious is coming. You know, she was giving me all the support I needed. Like, this is someone that when you come back, you want to cry, you can actually lean on her shoulder and cry out your heart and clear your tears. Like, I be like a man and come on and be as if you're very strong. But deep down your heart, you know that there's no strength anymore, you understand?
Yeah.
But there are things,
really supportive.
yeah, but there are things you can't really fight, you can't really force, you understand? I couldn't really keep her for so long. Yeah, she's tried, but the pressure was much. And I think the pressure became more when I came in because they felt like it's okay, now you have a bigger distraction. Because those guys were coming, but she was telling them no. Then immediately we had contact. She now became very serious with me based on my kind of personality. That okay, this guy is caring, he's nice based on his life experience. So I think this kind of person I want. But my pockets were not giving the green light, you understand? And she's a lady, she needs to be taken care of, you understand? So and she didn't want a situation whereby if I gamble with this guy, I'll not be like he makes it and drops me. Maybe after some years he feels that I'm no longer what appeases him, you understand? What caused my fate? But then all those suitors, but I've moved on with their life, so I'll not be left to wallowing in my regrets and stuff like that. So and family will blame her. Yes, in fact, society will blame you. So I didn't really judge her for not waiting for me. I won't judge because if she was my sister, I won't advise her to wait for someone which you know is not going to be ready in the next 2, 3, 4 years. You understand? Yeah. So I had to in fact, why I even look one reason I look at was just to give her that space for her to think and see, okay, is this really what I wanted? You understand?
You were the one that gave her the
I give her this because I just thought about
some persons will want to keep you.
No, it was becoming very toxic for the both of us. To be sincere. We're no longer seeing it as a love affair. It was more of a struggle. Because most of which come out, she's crying, telling me, see what is happening, my family is telling me to go and get married. I don't want to get married. I don't like this guy. I don't want to be here. But so if you want to put the ring on her finger because the money is not there. But she telling you that, oh yeah, come and do something so I can be where my heart belongs. But you can't, you yourself, you don't want her to suffer. You don't want to suffer likewise. You have a family that is already on your neck already. You understand? You're taking care of.
Yeah.
So I had to just be a man and let so many things go.
Okay.
I don't know that she got married. She's married now.
Wow.
I believe the love of her life. But I was not the love of her life. So she's married now and I'm sure she's happy where she is. And, we're not enemies though. We'll still communicate once in a while. She's doing very well. Her brand is growing. I'm proud that something I put effort to is doing very well for her now.
And she'll be grateful.
Yeah, I believe she is.
Okay, so what are the setbacks or limitations that this life hustle of yours or the predicaments that your family got into? What are the limitations that it brought to you as a person?
Well, I want to be sincere, I missed a lot of opportunities because of, especially my mom's health. I missed a lot of opportunities because I knew in this space of these challenges, good offers were coming. There was this job offer that came from, and I won't forget that there was I think the, I can't remember the particular job, but I know he was head of finance to the government house then in Enugu State, and I got the opportunity to be his personal assistant. It was an open check. Like I didn't have to go for an interview. It was based on the contact I had. And that would have been a mind-blowing opportunity for me to actually change my life. It was something I'm talking about. But in the second instance, I looked at my family. I was the only one grown enough to actually take care of them. The state my mom was at that time was not the state whereby I live in the hands of an outsider. You cannot manage her at that point. And my dad was already generating the age already. He's no longer a young, vibrant young man he used to be, whereby he can always carry her to put her in a vehicle. So he couldn't do all those things. So I had to sit down and tell myself, is there I sacrifice these opportunities or I let my mom die before her time?
Okay.
So at that point in time, I just sat down. In fact, nobody ever advised me.
You advised
And it was
yourself.
true. I had to just sit down and tell myself that, okay, if I really want to have my parents live a little much longer than I'm expecting, I must just leave the opportunity and just face this the hard way. So I thought that so many, not just one, not two, so many opportunities, so many good pay. I know that okay, by now I at least have some good investment. And because of investment, I lost before, but man, family is family.
Okay. So you said this thing has actually extended for about 17 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Which why is it okay, you said something. I think it's because you said it's because of your upbringing, the
Yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
upbringing. Because I wanted to ask you, why didn't you join Yahoo? Was there a point where you were pressured or you saw the money that was coming out of it? Or maybe you had friends around you that were into it and you felt like, oh, you should try it.
Well, the funny aspect about this is that most of my friends then were not really into all those kind of things. So yes, in school then we see them in school. But in school you see some of your not colleagues per se, but school,
Mates.
yes, who drive luxurious cars, live a fiber lifestyle. But back then, based on how I grew up, you understand, I didn't really see all those things as something that I need to, you understand, acquire as a matter of urgency. You understand? I always have this notion that go through school, come out from school, get a good pension. That was the mentality we were brought up with. You understand? So when I see all those distractions, you understand, I didn't really pay more attention to it because I didn't understand what was going to happen then. I was more focused on going through school, then coming out of school,
Yeah.
get a good job, come up with a good result, as every other parent want their kids to have. Get a good grade, get a good paying job. But trust me, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way anymore.
But we're surviving. We're surviving.
Okay, so I think I have one more question.
It's alright.
Which is if you were to turn back the hand of the time or the clock,
Okay.
what would you have changed in the past?
I think some lifestyle my mom lived, like some of those habits actually caused some of this illness. I think I have corrected some of them. Those periods where she was alone, I think so many errors were made that period.
And you don't regret saying you wouldn't have focused on family, you would have focused on
No,
self.
I don't know because definitely why we have families to take care of family. In as much as we want to live the best life, you can't neglect the fact that you must take care of your family. You understand? So I needed to just put that part at the back, that notion at the back of my mind that family comes first. Yeah, it's important to build yourself. But in as much as my parents paid some sacrifices when I was much younger. I'm sure they did because I remember when we were much younger. Most times when the transfer like that from Kaduna down to Abuja, my mom had to jump bus to attach her to flag down vehicles just to get right to get to school. So this is a sacrifice that she made for us. So why can't I do the same for when I'm off to that age where I can? So I don't see that. There's no regret. In fact, I'm more happy. I did, and I'm sure wherever she is, she's very proud of the children she gave birth to. So.
Okay, and then you made mention of when you guys took her to South Africa.
Yeah.
Do you think, if not for the chaos that happened in South Africa, if she was still there, do you think she will have a longer life? Because from your story, it was sounding like it was as soon as she got to Nigeria and started taking medications, a lot of things became a lot of things became complicated.
Okay.
So do you think if she was still outside the country, she would have lived a longer life? and a better one?
I can't really conclude by say, but I would say for sure that life was better for her when she was outside. Far, far better. Because their medical system over there, there's no comparison with what we have here in Nigeria, you understand? There's more care there. Some of those healthcare facilities we should pay
Even
for.
when her family was not
You
around.
understand? You understand? There was more because when we talk on phone, you will hear her talk. You know that she's sounding alive. She's very happy. You understand? Do you know this person is being taken care of? I'm not there. No, nobody related her was there. Just the church. You understand? But she was still very, very healthy. In fact, her crisis started when she got back. I will keep saying that the crisis started the minute she started into this country, the problem is surfaced again. Because those places, the only thing that she suffered was okay. She lacked money, we'll send money down to her, you understand? But every other thing was working perfectly fine because we're always in contact with the church members, how is blessing, how is she doing? What you doing? And most time they do video call, you see her, you see that this one, she's looking very alive. You understand? There was no complications. And the hospital system is whereby once you break down, they come immediately take care of you. You understand? So I think some of those treatments and the church to play a huge impact too. They were all around her. Etc. So those period of times was so. I think her life there was better. Still is better too.
Okay, so what advice do you have to give to somebody out there who is struggling, who is swimming in the ocean of struggles, life struggles, frustrations, and all that? What advice do you have for them?
I would say don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. One thing about life is life won't get easy if you don't keep trying. You understand? Keep trying, keep pushing, and most importantly, have faith in God. Very, very important. Have faith in God. Anything out of Christ, trust me, will be crisis. Have faith in God. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Keep working hard. Very important. Keep working hard. Keep working hard. Keep trying. Keep exploring new things. Keep exploring new things. Keep trying. Keep reading. Try to be innovative. You understand? Always try to update yourself because basically we know that right now things are changing. So many things are changing right now. So don't dwell in the past. If you've tried something and it's not working for you, try a new pattern of it and see if that works for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for coming around. We really appreciate your time. God bless you. And I believe that heaven is going to shower his blessings on you and all your struggles, your hustles will be a story someday.
Thank you.
And I'm very sure you will come back to this platform to share your story.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
So you've gotten to see that everyone has their own story. We all have different stories in life. Our stories are somehow written by us. So the way you want your story to go is how you're going to live your life. Make decisive decisions that's going to help you become a better person. It's not just all about who you are today. It's all about the virtue or the things you're going to be bequeathing to your family tomorrow. Remember, at Untamed Hearts Diaries, we share stories that are on forgiveness, appreciation, and life hustle generally. So do ensure you share your story with us. If you want us to come down to wherever you are and get your story, fine, we will get it. If you want to send us a written story, we will read your story out so the world can learn from whatever it is you've gone through. Please do subscribe to Untamed Hearts Diaries, where hot gist on forgiveness, appreciation, and life hustle comes around. Just stay tuned. I remain your host, Kayeta Utite.